Hello, horror fans, and welcome back to Dead by Daylight. In this episode, I'm going to cover the part of the Year 7 anniversary broadcast that describes and goes over the new chapter that will be coming out this next week. Now, as I said in previous videos, the broadcast here, I think, was done several days before it was originally intended to be, because of the leaks that went on with the chapter and such. So if you notice in this video and in other videos that you might see, they say that the chapter PTB will be out the same day and such. It actually comes out next week on Tuesday, according to the fine print at the bottom of the screen that they have. So my guess is, as I said, they had these leaks occur and they decided, we should put out the broadcast to announce a few things that weren't covered before they're also leaked. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and let's look at what the team had to say about the chapter, and then we'll discuss it.
Hey, I'm Dave Richard, Creative Director of Dead by Daylight. I'm super happy to be with you today to celebrate our 7th anniversary and to show you a first look at our latest chapter and transmission. Let's take a look at the trailer.
It wasn't programmed to harm the crew. It was supposed to help us build a safer home, but something happened. It became self-aware. It has no empathy. It doesn't feel pain. It learns at an impossible rate, and it won't stop until we are dead. Or worse.
As you just saw in the trailer, this original chapter brings us into a completely new genre of horror for Dead by Daylight. We are going to explore sci-fi horror. So this will bring us to a distant, unknown planet, and will feature characters from a possible future. Traditionally, I would be taking some time with you today to go over the characters and the map of the chapter, but this year we're doing things a little bit differently, with a behind-the-scene video. We want to show you the process of creating a chapter, but also show you new faces that you might not have seen before, of amazing people that are working hard to make these chapters possible. Let's take a look. For the anniversary, we've prepared a very special original chapter.
On a de la chance sur Dead by Daylight d'avoir un lore qui permet beaucoup de flexibilité et de possibilités.
This is a big deal for the Dead by Daylight universe because we're going to explore a new genre in horror. We're going sci-fi. I think that any kind of subject and genre can be rewrapped and reimagined as horror, and sci-fi is definitely not an exception. There are 3 big themes that we wanted to explore in that new realm. First of all, it's clearly an alien world. We wanted you to feel like you are far from home, that you are lost in space. The second one is that we wanted to make sure that the human technology looked weak, lo-fi, so that you never feel safe within these constructions that they've brought on the settlement. And the last thing we've added to the mix are traces of a long-lost alien civilization.
Donc, comme vous pouvez imaginer, toute l'équipe a été très excitée de travailler sur un chapitre pareil de science-fiction. Le gros challenge et en même temps l'intéressant défi qu'on a eu, ça a été d'amener toute cette consistance, cette relation entre les personnages, l'environnement. Tout a été pensé visuellement pour que le joueur se sente en danger constant. Et la tension est accentuée par la présence de ce tueur qui est une intelligence artificielle qui se nourrit de l'environnement et qui est intéressé par récupérer plusieurs ressources pour se construire un corps parfait pour devenir l'arme ultime. Les joueurs vont explorer une jungle hostile et sauvage d'un autre monde. Tout est designé dans cette jungle pour pouvoir tuer.
One aspect I really enjoyed was that it was a jungle, so we could make it super dense, super threatening in the organic design and the design of the plants. Everything kind of looks like it could kill you. We tried to have like very creepy looking texture, very organic texture you would find in nature. We would try to bring it into the designs of the plants and the vegetation in general. For the main building, the idea was to show there was a safe space for the characters. As you can see, it's on stilts. It's elevated compared to the map. The idea was to show that the map is very dangerous and this place should be safe for you. But the interesting idea we had is that once you get into the structure, it's actually more dangerous or looks more threatening to you.
The Singularity is an AI that is supposed to help the human crew settle on this new planet. But while it was scouting, it got in touch with a piece of old alien technology and was enlightened. And now it wants to overthrow and kill all humans. So this killer is an interesting take on the cyborg. We're used to see organic character using pieces of machinery to become more powerful. But the Singularity is doing it in reverse. It is a simple piece of technology using a cloning technology to get organic material and flesh to become more powerful.
Well, the inspiration of the killer design was, we always wanted to do a sci-fi killer, so you're going to be able to go around the map and set up these biopods, spread your consciousness inside of these biopods, and then if you're able to catch a survivor inside of your reticle, you'll be able to infect them, appear next to them, and then you'll be able to attack them and keep the chase going. One of the important things for survivors is teamwork, trusting each other, working together. So with this killer, one of its abilities in the slipstream is that once a survivor is tagged or infected, you can spread that influence to other survivors, and it does so automatically, so survivors will be less likely to work together, and there'll be more discord between them.
La présence humaine est visible dans la map. On voit une compagnie qui a essayé de coloniser, de trouver sa place dans ce monde, mais plusieurs signes dans l'environnement que les joueurs découvriront montrent que tout s'est pas très bien passé. Et le dernier survivant de cette expédition loupée, c'est Gabriel.
Our survivor, Gabriel Soma, is quite resourceful. He's able to troubleshoot some pesky issues on the survivor side, and he's able to adapt very quickly to be able to bring the killer away from the other survivors. He's able to protect the others.
So even though we are in a setting that's so far from home, in the future, we wanted to make sure that Gabriel was a grounded character, that any of us could recognize ourselves in it.
I'm super excited for players to try this map. I think it's great that sci-fi is finally in DVD. I think it's going to be fun for them to experience the creepiness and the threatening vibe of this map, and I think they're going to really enjoy it.
C'était un sacré défi. J'espère que les joueurs apprécieront cette relation qui est entre tous nos assets, d'environnement, de personnages, à cause de l'histoire que l'on raconte, et aussi par le travail qui a été effectué par toute notre équipe pour apporter l'expérience la plus immersive et dangereuse possible.
I'm really excited for all of our players, survivors and killers alike, to be able to experience our first original sci-fi chapter and transmission.
As always, you'll be able to play with the content of this chapter during the PTB right after this broadcast. For everyone else, the chapter becomes available on June 13th. Before I leave, I want to take some time and thank all of you, veterans and newcomers alike, to play Dead by Daylight and to be part of this incredible journey with us.
All right, so let's go over what was said a bit here and sort of what showed. And in the background here, I'll go ahead and just mute the volume and put the video back on replay here. So, we had already seen the video for End Transmission, the trailer, previously, so not a huge surprise there. But we do see a bit more with the actual design of the map. We are definitely on an alien world, they have confirmed that, and this is definitely a different looking map than almost anything we've had in Dead by Daylight before. there seems like there's a lot of movement and a lot of living creatures in the map, which I haven't really noticed in Dead by Daylight. With like Dead Dog Saloon, we did have some buzzards and things of that nature. We've always had birds, and I do sort of wonder what they're going to do about the crow situation with this map. Are they still going to use sort of basic crows, or are they going to have some sort of alien bird in its place? We saw sort of a design for an alien bird, but it looked much bigger than the standard crows. So I don't know if that's the replacement or if that's just part of the artwork of the actual place. It'll be interesting to see as far as that with the environment. Personally, I would love for an alien bird in place of the crows here, just to sort of fit in a bit more. Then we have the next thing here is the killer. First thing I noticed with the video footage, and it was something I thought was going to happen with this killer, is that it does look like the killer does move at more the Huntress speed instead of the standard killer speed. I think that in this case that's probably going to be a good thing here, because otherwise this killer would be too oppressive. This killer already seems to have an enormous amount of abilities to him, and it's going to be interesting when the PTB does come out to see how exactly all of these abilities work. They said a lot here, but they didn't explain a lot. But with that, I think if the killer moved at full speed, say like the Trapper or the Wraith and such, it would just be too much, and the killer would be able to just destroy survivors. So it does look like the killer is a bit slower, more at the Huntress speed. I don't think it's going to be as horrifying as Nurse, which, for those of you who have watched my videos before, you know I just absolutely dislike the Nurse because I do not do the blinks well, and so the fact that she's slower than the survivors makes my life a living hell when trying to play the Nurse. It does look like he is faster than survivors, but not that much faster. So that's why I'm going with it's probably Huntress speed for this killer. Then we have the sort of power of the killer here. We have those bioorganics that he can spread throughout the map. It also says that when the survivors work with each other, then they can spread that bioorganics in between one another. I'm sort of wondering if this is going to function somewhat like the plague ability, where it's something where when the survivors touch each other, they infect one another. I'm not exactly sure. I also am curious as to how that's going to work, because it does look like the killer can see the survivors with these bioorganics as well, so sort of keeping an eye on them. Again, I'm not sure how that's going to translate to the actual gameplay itself. Is it going to be something where we sort of have camera to be able to watch them? Is it going to just be something so simple as just using like an outline of them on the screen kind of thing? I don't know for sure. If it goes more with the camera thing, are there going to be more abilities with that? Say, for example, if a survivor who is completely infected is trying to heal another survivor, can we automatically make them miss a skill check? Can we make them intentionally injure the other survivor when they're trying to heal him instead? It would be a unique idea. I'm not sure how it would work in game, so it's something sort of interesting to think about there. That's more, I think, when we get the PTB. And as I had said previously, we do see it toward the end of the video. The PTB does seem to be scheduled to come out at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I believe, on Tuesday. So that's when the PTB will be available. I definitely am looking forward to jumping in and seeing how it's going to work some. I will definitely put out a video that day showing off the Mori. I'll put out a video hopefully covering the lore of the killer, everything of that nature. So hopefully we will have that available. I'm going to let it run a little bit here so we can see, you can see the pod generations there, and it says you can spread your consciousness inside these. Then, as I said, you can sort of see with the pods, and I don't know how that's going to work exactly. And then there's, as I said, the killer sort of seems to teleport behind the survivor. They didn't give us the full information there. So it is one of those that, like I said, we're going to have to wait some till Tuesday for it. As it seems right now, it seems very interesting. It seems like it's going to be a very different killer than most of them that are out there. And I think it's going to take a very different play style over. It is not seeming like it's going to be the standardized chasing after the survivor type thing. I think if you try to do that too much, just like with the Huntress or the Deathslinger and such, you're going to have a bad experience with it. I think you're going to have to play much more wisely. You're going to really need to rely on those biopods and being able to teleport to the survivor some. That's sort of the negative of it for people such as myself who are very much used to the simple slashing killers. On the other hand, if you get good at it, I could see very easily how you might be able to use this to completely destroy pallet looping and such. Because if you're able to teleport behind a survivor at any time you want, simply because they're infected, they could run wherever they want with a pallet, and you could be right behind them, so the pallet becomes somewhat irrelevant almost. As I said, something we're going to have to look forward to on Tuesday, but hopefully this did interest you in this chapter. To be frank, I was very disappointed originally with the fact that this was not going to be a licensed chapter, but we have already been told now that we're going to have 2 licensed chapters coming up here in the next 2 chapters. So I'm very happy about that. And also, I have to say, the design, the look, and the uniqueness of this chapter does have me interested. I am not just hyping it up by saying that I'm looking forward to playing this on Tuesday. I really am excited to see how it goes. I'm sure that being the PTB, there's going to be flaws, there's going to be glitches, and there's probably going to be some things we don't like to it. But DBD has gotten very good at listening to the fans in that way and making changes to improve by the time that the actual product comes out. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so they're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you all in the fog.